Hi, it's me, as you can see, making a fun little video for my friends. And I thought maybe let's have a little fun, pretend you're hanging out with me a little bit, and I'll kind of show you some of the cool things I'm kind of happy with my gadgets here. Now it's a fairly pretty good high definition video camera. It's HDV is the format, so it uses these little little digital tapes here that hold about an hour of footage on a little tape like that, and it's high definition, so that's fun. I've done a lot of cool stuff with this camera and stuff that's been broadcast, and it's all right. But it's a little bit of an old camera. You know, the newer cameras, it's not as common anymore that they actually use tape. A lot of them don't even use tape anymore, and so I thought, well, time to kind of update this camera a little bit without having to buy a whole new camera. I thought maybe I could find a device that would record to something other than tape that would just use this camera, and so I did find such a thing. See, back here on the camera there's a little port for plugging into FireWire on the computer, so that when you go out and you shoot your footage, it's all on the tape. Then you plug this into the computer and you play back the tape into the computer, and then you can edit. Or you can actually select clips in the computer, and then the computer will automatically control the playback to capture just what you want into the computer. Well, so I use that same FireWire connection, plug a cable into that, and then the other end plugs into something I call the doohickey, just because, what do you call it? This is a little digital video recorder made specifically to record HDV from FireWire. Plug in the FireWire there, and then you've got the controls here on the front for, just general setup and starting and stopping. And then it actually records to, compact flash card. And that's cool, because this is a 16 gigabyte card, and it'll do over an hour of footage on this. I've got a couple 32 gigabyte cards that can do almost 2.5 hours on each of those cards, so I'm pretty well set. I can go out, shoot a day's worth of footage on these cards, bring them back, copy the files into the computer. It's great. See, because when you copy what's on tape into the computer, basically that footage has to be played back in real time. So if you got an hour of footage, it's going to take an hour to get that footage into the computer. Whereas with this, if you got an hour of footage, depending on your connection speed, you might get that in the computer in, I don't know, 15 minutes, and you're ready to go. So that's what I've got for there. And I like not using tape because, well, like I said, it does an hour's worth of footage. So let's say I go out one day and I shoot 45 minutes worth of footage. And the next day I shoot 45 minutes worth of footage. And the next day I shoot 28 minutes worth of footage. Now, you could get all that footage onto just 2 tapes, but what if it's 3 completely different projects? And you don't want to have half of one project on one tape and half on and then you got these tapes that are only half used, or sometimes less than half used, lying around. And tapes aren't that expensive, but they're just kind of a hassle in the 21st century. So this is great. You shoot exactly as much as you want. The only thing you have to worry about is getting a lot of external hard drive storage space to manage all your files now, since you don't have an original tape to go back to, if you're going to look at the project a year later or 2 years later or whatever. So you got to be careful about storing your digital files properly for archiving purposes. But overall, I've had this thing since about May, and I love it. And it makes it more fun, seems a little bit more accessible to do little fun little videos for my friends, because you just shoot a little 5-minute or 10-minute clip or whatever it is, and that's it. You don't have to worry about, well, how much tape did I use up, or do I need to re-record over an old tape, and no, none of that. That's not a problem anymore. So now you may be wondering, hey, what's that? What, obviously, okay, that's a high definition camera, but this is also widescreen, looks like high definition here. What are you using to record that? You got a second camera, don't you? I do. So let's switch cameras. I'll tell you about this one. So this is the other camera that I use I was using just a moment ago. It's called the GoPro Hero camera. Just a little tiny thing. Sometimes I just call it my Malibu Barbie camera because it's so tiny. It's like a little toy. People use these for like snowboarding videos, or they mount it to their helmet when they go skydiving. So this is a camera for insane people, and I bought one. It doesn't have a viewfinder of any kind on it. So, but it's such a wide angle lens that you can just kind of, you know, generally point it somewhere and you'll get what you want. You can buy an accessory that has a viewfinder on it, or you can plug it into something else and get a viewfinder that way. But people put these all over the place. It records to different, to just little secure digital cards. So again, a file-based system there. And you can't connect it to a tripod directly, but you got these little cases that you put it in. So this one, you just snap it in there, and then you can mount this to all kinds of different things. In fact, I've got one here that'll, oh boy. Wow. You should probably tighten your tripod legs before you set the tripod out. Okay, so you put the camera in this little case, and then you can mount it to, you know, again, your helmet, or, you know, your wrist, or whatever, or your boat, or whatever you're doing with your extreme sports. Or I have here a little suction cup mount here, so I can attach it to a car or a window. And then this is also a completely airtight case, so that makes it waterproof. You could stick this camera under the water, and so anyway, that's what I do. So you know, I'll keep making little YouTube videos and stuff for my friends, and I'll use one or the other or both of these cameras, and you'll have some fun with it. I'll just give you a little highlight reel of some of the stuff I've done with this camera in the last couple of months, and you know, that's kind of fun.